What's going on, guys? Me again. Got the Clawhammer Supply Claw-in-1. That's right, they called it the Claw-in-1 unit. Pretty clever play on words for their company name, right? So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna put just kind of quickly put this thing together. What I do need to put together, shouldn't take very long, but I also kind of wanted to get a cleaning done on this. So I'm gonna do all this in this one video, although I might do this on separate days, but to you it'll be in one video. But we're gonna go ahead and put this together, what I need to, and then we're gonna see how it all goes. So let's zoom in here on this thing and get some parts together. All right, so I did go and print off their little guide here. They have a little user guide. You know, when you get the unit, there's a little QR code in there, and the QR code takes you to some PDF instructions for putting together their system. There's not a lot of steps involved, just a few clamps, a few hoses, and that's about it. So let's go ahead and pop off this lid here. I'm just going to set it aside in a safe spot off camera. I'm gonna go ahead and take the basket out. And what I do like about these units is you can store all your parts inside of it when you're not brewing. So I can literally just put the screens, everything all down in there. Still got the packing material fuzzies on here, but yeah, put those guys away. And yeah, she's completely empty other than the fuzzies. Like I said, I'll have to give it a good, a good rinse out. But yeah, nice and shiny in there. I love brand new stainless steel. I don't know, man, just something about brand new stainless, it's always nice. But this thing apparently goes up to like 1800 watts, which is pretty powerful for a 120. But yeah, you control the wattage on here on the controller, and you simply just turn it on and off over here. And of course, there's a manual trigger for the pump as well. But yeah, like you control the wattage to the elements of, like, you have a 15 amp breaker or something like that, you probably don't want to go full blown, 1800, you probably want to dial down to like 1500. But I've got 20 amp breaker in here, so I can maximize the amount of wattage going to the units. So yeah, let me move these other parts out of the way here that aren't part of this process. This was not, now in my unpacking video, you'll see I did not have these, the handle was not in the package. I did reach out to Clawhammer Supply guys, and they were Johnny on the spot and sent me the missing parts. The handle for one, I now have that, which is essential in lifting the grain basket. And then they have this telescoping pipe work that goes on the screens, and it's got a little top on it so you can keep the grains out of the overflow pipe and keep all the bits out of your works as you're boiling and everything. So yeah, just a little plastic screw-on dealio there. We also got here is this the ball valve for the spout that goes on the outside of the unit. This is good for draining straight into your fermenter if you want after you chill the work down. I probably will be using this a bit since they say not to run boiling hot work through this particular pump. It does say don't do that, but I'm not sure why. I think because somebody calls this like an airlock or something in there, and you might have like a bubble in the line, and then you'll lose your siphon or whatever, or you'll lose your prime on the pump or something like that when I was reading about it. But yeah, we'll go and get this on the kettle right now. I'm going to take ball valve, stick it through like so, comes out the other side. Real simple process here. I'm gonna get the nut and just check and make sure it doesn't matter which way it goes. Looks like it doesn't matter, it's the same on both sides. I'm gonna get the nut and screw it on the inside here, get it going, finger, and I'll get this thing about finger tight. turn it, and then just kind of turn it like so, and just like that. It's just threaded on the inside here. Pretty easy peasy. One thing I will say is I'm going to wrench this down on the inside nice and snug so I don't get any leaks around that. Got my little handy adjustable here. Just going to get in there and twist it back. I'm going to use the wrench to hold this in place essentially. Almost a perfect 90, or try to get it a perfect 90. Yep. It's pretty snug, man. I'm gonna wrench it, just lightly wrench it down, not too much. I ain't trying to kill it. Just trying to make sure she's seated on there good. All connected, ready to go. I notice there's a little slider here that keeps you from accidentally turning it. I do like that feature on this ball valve. Because it keeps you from accidentally opening it up and spilling wort everywhere. So when it's on, it's straight like that. When you don't want it flowing, it's that way. Just a simple ball valve, nothing crazy, nothing fancy about it. It's either open or it's closed. So yeah. And this right here, I noticed this guy, it comes out. And I guess you could hook like a screw, you could screw on a hose on that if you wanted. Although I'll never will. I'll just put this guy back up in there like that and just put this back on. I have more use of this barb than I would screwing something onto it, so that will just stay on there. That will never get taken off. And that's that. Now we have this other part of the unit. Let's turn it around here. We have this part. I was like kind of confused on what was here. I looked at their instructions. This unit is very similar to the Vevers and the other ones. It's very similar to Digiboil and stuff. But the uniqueness about their unit, I will say, is they put the pump on the outside, which I love the fact that they did that. Because if you ever have a problem with your pump in the mid-brew, you could essentially stop what you're doing, fix the pump, blow it out, whatever you got to do, and then continue your brew day. So that's a nice add-on. And in their instructions, they do show it here, and they show how it should go. So according to their instructions, this little male-to-male ball valve goes here, and this little piece of tubing goes there, and then my quick connects go, I don't know, it really matters which way they go, although they show the male side over there, looks like. Let me see. They show the quick connects, yeah, going like this, I believe. So what I got to do is put this guy in here. Let's take one of the clamps, get it over the hose, put this guy in like so. I'm going to quickly ratchet this guy down with just a regular screwdriver here. So I want to keep this upwards too. I want these adjusters on top so I can always get to them easily. So I'm just going to go ahead and tighten that bad boy down there. Kind of turn it, keep it from turning on me. I'm going to wrench it down real good. Alright, that's got a nice bite there. Next, we'll take this guy, get a clamp on the outward side again here. By the way, these barbs go right in like nothing, man. Pretty smooth. Slide that guy in like that. I'll back this one off some to loosen it up. Clamp it on. Alright, that's good. Good bite. Just start to see a little bit of that plastic starting to try to bite in. And I don't want it to go too snug because I don't want to mess up the hose too much. Next, take another one of these pieces here. Go ahead and loosen it up now. Need 2 rings actually. Need 2 of them. Alright, I'm gonna get down on my knees, but I'm not about to propose. Ha! Married with kids, those days are done. Let's see. I'll finish snugging that down after I get this barb on. Snug it down enough. I'm gonna move it down some. I want it more about right there. Hold it with my index finger. I wanted to bite on that barb more in the middle. About like how I have this one. Man, that's really basic. Nothing complicated about that. Got some good flex there. Look at that, you know, good flex to it. So, bam, Bob's your uncle. All right. So inside the unit, remember earlier we had hooked up the ball valve. Well, there's a little bazooka screen that comes with this, and you can simply clamp it in place. Just clamp it like in there, like so. I don't think I'm going to do that because 1, I'm going to use a hop spider for most of the brews in this thing, and 2, what I think I might do is I might see if I can find like a barb or something with the same. Basically, I want to find a screw-on bar, like a female screw-on for that. Look, might be a 1/2 inch, I believe, on that. I could be wrong, but I want to find something that I can fasten this to. That's a female to male, and so I can just simply screw the female on to here when I actually want to use that barb or use that spigot to drain. So, but like I said, there's not gonna be any hot debris in here really. Gotta be all contained in the little hop spider that comes with the unit. Simple conical hop spider. And it's just going to hang on the edge, you know. Hang it on the outside of the kettle, or I can actually hang it on the ring, it looks like, if I wanted. Just like that. So yeah, that's pretty cool, man. I use hop spiders all the time. Now I understand that sometimes you want to do like a Whirlpool edition, and having a hop spider is not good for that. As a matter of fact, when you do a Whirlpool, people do Whirlpools for different reasons. One is like, you know, they're doing a lower temp hop addition to their beer, or they're trying to whirlpool all the hops into the center of the kettle, so that when they do their draining or whatever, all the hop debris and whatever other debris sits in the very middle of the kettle. Because you essentially, when you whirlpool, you're creating a centrifugal force in there that pushes all that hop debris to the middle of the kettle, so you can have a very nice clean drain or pump out when you're pumping out the final product here. So yeah. What else? We need to go ahead, and I'm not going, like I said, I'm gonna set this aside for now. I am going to look for a fitting that I can hook this to permanently, that I can just simply just screw this on like a just screw a female onto the male side of that ball valve. I think that will be a great solution for using this. So yeah, that's my idea. Clawhammer guys, thank you for sending units once again. But yeah, we need to come up with a way to clamp this guy to a like, you know, a barb with a female side, and then you can just simply screw this guy onto the inside of your claw-in-one unit. So very useful if I find the solution for that, which I can probably find that at any major hardware store probably. So next thing I got to do, this is all done pretty much, the setup for this guy. We got our ball valve on, we got our pump officially connected with our MPT disconnect here. Very nice. Looking forward to using this unit. As you can see, it don't take up much space at all, man. If you're in a space constraint situation such as myself, this is fantastic setup wise. It's a small unit. It's not very tall either. It says 8 gallons at the top. You probably do maybe, say, what, 7, 8. You do, it's a 10 gallons to the lip, I'm sure. But I probably wouldn't have more than maybe 8 gallons of water in it. If I do a full no sparge brew, then I might have some water up above here. We'll see when I actually do brew in it. Let's go ahead and get the lid done, because the lid needs to be done next. All right, we're gonna go ahead and attach the handles here to the lid. It comes with several parts here, and if I had to take a guess, these guys here would go on the outside for when the knobs press against the glass. That's what I'm guessing. Yeah. And then this paper here, there's a paper washer and then a metal washer. I'd assume the metal washer goes on, then the papers. So we're going to do that. If it's backwards, someone can tell me in the comments. But we're going that route. So I'm going to take this, and then this guy, like so. Put it through the inside here. Like so. And then just simply screw the lid on after I put my silicone ring on there. I'm just going to screw it down. Doesn't need to be super snug anyways. Should just be enough. You know what? It doesn't have to be like muscled down. Like, you know, just enough to hold it on there. I'm just going to give a couple of little snugs turns on it. Yeah, that's one. Yeah, that's plenty snug. Let's do the other one. Washer, and the little paper washer. Put it on through this side. Put it with my finger, just like that. Put the little O-ring on there. Then screw this guy on. It makes total sense that that O-ring would be on the outside to me. Just because you need something to cushion against this handle. Couple little snugs. And this thing is glass, so easy to break it. And that's that, man. I just basically take it, simply set it on top. Boom. See, this was missing on the Grainfather when I had the Grainfather unit. Like being able to lift it up, like a safe way to lift the lid off. I mean, for one, it's glass. There's glass on my Grainfather unit as well. But not having a nice little point of contact for your hands to grab and lift off, set aside, that should have been there all along. I like that this unit has these handles on top. Yeah, beautiful. Next is the recirculation piece. Now, this guy doesn't come with a clamp, and it doesn't really need one. I mean, it's just basically barbed in, right? You just slide it up on there as far as it can go, but just like that. Because when you're brewing your beer, this goes inside. This guy goes just like that, and then you lock it down with the cam lock. Another thing I like is the cam lock feature. Yep, it holds it in better, no screwing down or anything like that. You just simply, bam, just pop it loose. So yeah, I like that feature as well. So anyhow, that's all that was. I'm just gonna put it back on for now. Obviously on these, this here, you know, is obviously the top plate. You know, this is the one that goes down on the very top inside the basket to let the wort recirculate on top of and let it kind of finally run down into your grain bed that sits below the screen here. We also have the bottom plate here. There's a lip inside this basket. There's a nice little lip inside there. That this edge will sit inside it. You gotta be careful with this, man. This thing's kind of sharp. But yeah, essentially just take the bottom here off, push it through here, and the pipe work just screws right on in there. Why am I putting this together now? Well, because I plan on running a cleaning process later in this video. So yeah. And that's how it goes, like that. And then you got your telescoping pipework for the overflow. And this just goes down inside. Just goes down inside like that. And then your wort just overflows into this guy. Looks like this top. I don't know, maybe somebody can explain to me. I noticed this comes off here. This actually screws off here. I don't know if it's because you can add more pipe or what. Although, oh, there's a little, there's a little ball valve thing there too. So, yeah, anyways. It just screws on. Just like that. One thing I noticed also, the unit comes with this bottom dip tube piece that you can stick down in the bottom drain hole of the kettle inside. I guess if you don't want to catch any trube or anything. I don't know if I'll use this or not. I can see the benefit of it if, like, you got a lot of loose debris in your wort and you're trying to avoid sucking that in and piping it out to the pump. But I don't know if I'll use this. Alright, so let's get this thing filled up with water, see if there's any leaks all around, and I'm going to run an initial cleaning process on it just to get all the machine oils and everything out of it, right? So, we'll do that next, so bear with me here. Alright, second leg of the video. Cleaning the Clawhammer unit. I got my water heater plugged in, it's heating up, so I got some good hot water on the side there. I think it's like a 3-gallon water heater. I can't remember what it was when I bought it, but I've been using it for a while, doing all my brewing and stuff out here, so let's get in and get this thing cleaned up with some OxyClean, unscented OxyClean, but it's OxyClean. There's no secret there. That's what I've been using for my brewer's wash for a very long time. It's an oxygen based cleaner, and it's kind of similar to the brewer washes that you buy commercially as well. So I've been using it for a long time. Works great to get stuff out. So yeah, and it's raining outside right now, so I have a water line that I've been using for a very long time. Let me show you real quick. Out to my window, you see that long green hose over there? That is my water supply from my house. You're probably wondering, you know, this guy has his hose bib on the outside of his house hooked up to that line. That's probably the worst water source for your house. Well, I'm here to tell you that water coming out of that hose bib is the same water that comes out of all the other faucets and everything in my house. It's just another water source. And one thing about my house, when I set up the water softener carbon scrubber is, and I know it's not economical, but even my hose bibs have soft water and they're carbon scrubbed. It's just, the house was an existing house built in 2001 or so, and trying to retrofit all that is a royal pain, very costly, and not worth my time. I save more money not doing any retrofitting than doing it. The return on investment is not there. So the water coming out of my hose bib that I brew with is carbon scrubbed and softened, and I actually have to add gypsum back to the water to harden it up a little bit because it's just too soft. So rant over. For all the purists out there who watch brewing content and question these kind of things, there's your answer as to why I use my hose bib. The water hose running from the hose bib to my bib on the shed is an RV water, drinking water hose, so it's perfectly safe for drinking. All right, let's clean this unit. So the unit is plugged in, which is fine. It's not powered on or anything, and I'm not gonna get any water down on, I'm not worried about getting water on any electrical or anything. I'm simply gonna take the unit, lean it over like so, and give it a good rinse out into my sink, and then I'll put it back. I hope they come out with a nice little sexy brewing jacket for this, because it'll help with heating efficiencies and everything, to be able to wrap this thing up with some kind of insulator, because it is a 120, but it's a very powerful 120, I might add. So yeah, let's go ahead and get her cleaned up. I'm just going to give it a rinse for right now. Rinse out any of those packing fuzzies. I want to fill this guy up with water above the ball valve. Make sure I don't have any leaking going on out the ball valve, out the pump, anywhere, right? So, and I do have this, very important, I do have this unit plugged into a GFCI. So it is protected, so I won't get electrocuted or fried. And it's 120, so it's not like working with 240, where 240 is very deadly. 120 will make you tingle a little bit. So it's not as bad on you if you do get shocked by it. But if you are messing with 240, you definitely GFCI. Matter of fact, I do have a 240 in here from the modular unit, and right now I do have that breaker killed since I'm not using that outlet. No sense in sending power over there since I'm not using it. So ball valve is shut right now. Let me move the camera down a little bit. All right, right now this guy is off. I have it turned to the off position as indicated on the valve itself. Let's fill it up with some water. I'm going to do straight up cold water. Save my water heater for the rinse. And I don't need it on that spray mode. I'm going to fill her up to about, I don't know, maybe 3 gallon mark. That's usually typical for cleaning, you know, about 3 gallons is all you need. I'm really going to be watching this valve right here, make sure I have it nice and sealed. Don't want that guy right there leaking. Be sucky to be in the middle of a brew process and that guy be seeping out hot wort. Alright, we are getting up above the ball valve right now. Slowly. We're about the, I'd say probably about the 1 gallon mark. And the ball valve is fully submerged. Not getting any water outside of it, which is great news. It's just got a little silicone ring in there, as I mentioned earlier when we were putting it together. So I'll fill this up and we'll add the brewer's wash and everything to it. Alright, so put our lid on. Actually, how do I want to do this? You know what? I am going to, I need to clean everything, right? So I am going to, I already have it assembled, which is kind of nice from when I was doing the assembly earlier. I am going to take off the green cap, put the mesh screen in on top, and put this, and just leave it like that. I don't need to put the cap on. So what I'm going to do next, go ahead and set this guy in. It hangs like that. Give it a little turn. It'll set right on down in there. What I want to do, man, is I'm going to let it kind of rain around in here. And I'm going to wash all this stuff. And I'll pull these parts out and rinse them off in the sink. At least the basket parts. I'll just put those in the sink and let them rinse. And then I'll do a full rinse out on this and run some cleaner through this ball valve and, you know, clean this thing. You know what I did? I screwed up. Well, it doesn't matter. The dip tube. This is that little dip tube we were talking about earlier. You can put in the bottom. Keep from sucking up crud from the bottom of your kettle. I'm just going to put this guy in here. And as a matter of fact, I don't want this on yet until I actually get the cleaner down in here and stuff. So I'm just put the dip tube down in there like that. I got some unscented OxyClean here. You know, it's unscented. If it was scented, you'd see all these little blue crystals and crap in there. This is just plain old unscented OxyClean. So I'm going to measure this a little bit. Visually, we're going to put about 2 teaspoons in here, or tablespoons I should say. And splash all over the place while I'm at it. Alright, that was way more than 2 tablespoons, but who cares? We're not drinking it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this a little bit of a stir. Nice and soapy. Alright, I can hear it going, man. It's heating up fast. It's at 99.8 already. It is a quick heater for a 120, I must say. 1800 watts. Yeah, I don't remember what my old all-in-one, I don't remember what the wattage was. I think it was like 1500 or something. I know it wasn't, I don't think it was 1800. But yeah, she's roaring away in there. I can hear it. So let's go ahead and put this on with my screen, of course. Get on there. All right. Put that on. Get the recirc in here. We're going to test the pump. And this is closed right now, so I need to open that up. Now they do say, I've seen people say on these type of units, this same design that other makers have. You don't want this full throttle when you first start it up. You want to kind of have this, let's say, throttled down just a little bit, so it's not just doesn't explode at you when it first turns on. So let's go ahead and flip this on. Oh yeah, she flows good. Actually, very fast. It definitely moves some water around, that's for sure. Look at it. Let me kill it for a second so y'all can see this. Kill the pump. Pop this little lid off for a second. Check this out. Full throttle, man. It's got good flow to it. I need to get it all over this disc anyways. Get all the machine oils. Get down inside that pipe work some. We're at 102 degrees right now. Just kind of coat all of this in that OxyClean. And then maybe I don't need a jacket for this thing, I don't know. Although I think it would look a lot cooler if I had one on it. All right, yeah, that's good flow, man. You be the judge. Nice. I mean, in person, man, it's a good stream. Yep, very good stream. Very soapy. All right, I'll get back with y'all here in a minute. Once this bad boy is heated up enough. One thing I noticed is the way this pipe is attached. You see it? It's clamped on right here. It's using a clamp to hold it onto this welded on dealio. So which means if you wanted to get creative, you could take this whole piece off because it goes right into the base here. You know, and I'm pretty sure it's just bolted on the inside there and has some flex tubing of sorts hooked down in there. But yeah, it looks like you could totally, if you wanted to, you could replace that thing. Very cool. $110.8 right now. We need to get up to 135. I'm going full dog Nelson on this sucker, man. 1800. Oh, y'all can't see that. It's not coming through too good on the camera. How about that? There you go. 1800 watts. 135 degrees. I set the timer to 128 minutes just for the sake of it not stopping the process. But yeah, it looks like you do have to set a timer. It has built-in timers on it, which is fine with me. I wonder if there's a timer bypass. Not that it matters. So yeah, all my clamp work seems to be holding up. Not a single leak. Nice and secure. No drips going on. Yeah, man. I don't think you ever need to mess with this guy. Not ever have to mess with that. I think that's if you need to shut off flow to the pump, to work on the pump. You should be able to control all your recirc flow right here on this one valve. But yeah, I think that's for maintenance purposes. Makes sense to me. And you know, you have this quick connect here now, so you can quick disconnect to service the pump as well. But you would definitely want to shut the valve off first and have a little collection cup to collect any little bit of wort that might be in that line. But yeah, so far so good, man. $119.120. It heats up quick. I ain't gonna lie. It actually heats up a lot faster than my old 120. Alright guys, you can see the timer is flashing. We hit 135. Temperature is at 135.8. As soon as it hit 135, 135.1, it did kick on. Let's see how much this thing climbs on the recirc here. Not that it matters at this point, just kind of curious really. It still shows it's, I'm assuming that the H means it's still heating. Let's see. No, it looks like it's slowing down. I guess technically it would stay heating. Maybe it goes up to a certain point and then stops. But anyhow, we're going to go ahead and get this thing cleaned out. And we can worry about temp fluctuations and stuff later. But it's not climbing like it was. So it tells me that it's backing off on the element right now. Because this was steady rolling up pretty fast. I was actually impressed. You know, I am running, 1800 watts. I was impressed at how fast this was ramping up. It looks like it's slowed down, like it's dialing back, maybe in maintenance mode on the heat. But yeah, it was climbing really quick, considerably. So what I'm gonna do now is just give her a good clean over. I got my little cleaning sponge here. I'm gonna kill the pump, of course. And yeah, the heat's coming down now. It's like it dropped down like 0.4 degrees, so it's headed south. Like I said, it's in maintenance mode. So easy thing to do is these little locks are kind of cool. I like these camphor locks for sure over the whole screw-on deal. And yeah, no, I'm gonna be sounding like a dinosaur here, guys, because like I said, it's been about 5 years or so since I've played with one of these all-in-ones. So I'm gonna just hang this guy over the edge of my sink. Actually, put it back here like that so it can just kind of hang over that. I'm gonna take my lid off, set it in the sink, and this top guy here, it's been getting sprayed on and dripped on, but I am going to take a little bit of my sponge here and just give it a wash. And this one, these plates and all, I'll just rinse them off in the sink. I don't need they don't need to be part of the piping rinse out, really. So I'm just going to give them a good clean up. Make sure you don't cut yourself, because there are some sharp edges on these plates. So, alright, that's pretty good. Just enough to get her soaped up, little light wash on it, just to get any oils off, and to the sink it will go. And I'm going to slide this guy out next. Let's see if I can pull this out. Yes, I can. This little pipe here has been sitting in the OxyClean for a while. Just going to give it a quick wipe and clean. And into the sink it will go. A lot of these parts I can just rinse off in the sink. I don't need to have them as part of the process. And I'm going to take the pipe work off now. It's slippery. This brewer's wash is slippery stuff, man. Dip my sponge in the water a little bit, give it a wipe off. Yep. In the sink it goes. Now I'll use hot water to rinse these off, of course. That's the whole that's the whole point of my water heater, you know, is to have some hot water set aside for rinsing and stuff. Especially all this sticky wort. I don't know if you're new to brewing, or maybe you've been brewing a while, but if you're new to brewing, this is a sticky process cleanup. That delicious wort that will turn into your beer one day. Very sticky stuff. And anybody that's been brewing for a while knows exactly what the hell I'm talking about. So, all right. I'm going to pull the basket out. Actually, you know what? I'm going to leave the basket in and give it a good wash on the inside here. I'll be 100% honest with you guys, man. And you will see, because maybe I'll show you in an upcoming video, how I wash these all-in-one units is not like this. Not the parts anyways. No siree. You know what? Let me rinse my hands off here. One key piece here I need for this next step. Let's use the handle. We have it. I'm gonna lift this guy out. How does this go? Does it go in this way? Oh yeah. Slide the handle in. Lift her up. I'm gonna let it drip off for a second. I don't want to risk dripping anything on the outside of the kettle here onto the controller or anything. I already got some residue there that I'll have to wipe off later. Doesn't look like it's dripping too much. I'm just gonna go ahead and move it. Alright, main kettle. I'm actually going to kill the heating. Don't need it anymore. Water's hot enough, and I'm not really worried about maintaining a temperature at this point. Just going to take my sponge. Ooh, that water is hot. Y'all want to get a little closer in on the action? Everybody like, this is boring. We want to see some kettle action. Well, there's ain't much kettle action today, guys, but this is a this is a very key part of the process. Sanitation and cleaning is, I saw some memes going around back in the day. It's like, you know, what a home brewer actually does, and it was like, you know, mopping and cleaning and stuff. so oh, piece of my sponge in there. I don't want that going in the pump. All right, that's all there is to this, man. We're going to rinse off all the parts in the sink here, and then I'm going to pump this stuff out into the sink with the little recirc arm here. Just going to put the arm over the sink. I'll wiggle the... Another nice thing about this kettle, I can just simply move over to the edge and pump the water out. So, man, this is going to work out beautifully, having this space like this. First and foremost, I'm going to rinse this guy off. Got some hot water here by now. Yeah, oh yeah. Good and hot. This is about 3 gallons. Like I said, it's about 3 gallons of hot water. Before it has to make more, you gotta be very careful. Like I said, there's some sharp edges. I'm gonna give this all a good rinse and get water on my floor while I'm at it. Now let me tell you how I'll normally do this. Is all these parts will go in my house and straight to my dishwasher. I do not bother washing these. I did it with my Clawhammer modular. I would take it inside the basket because I really want to make sure that basket got nice and clean. Put it on quick wash in the dishwasher. Actually, take that back. I would put it on sanitize mode in my dishwasher and let it rip. I can take this guy here, put him on like this, lock him back on there. I'll pump him out in a minute. One thing I will say that I like about that bottom drain on these units is you can get every last bit of work, man. Looks like there ain't no dead, I don't think there ain't any dead space on this unit. Any loss, as they call it, any chance of losing any of your wort that you have to count for. Nope. That's nice and, look at that. Shiny! Nice and clean, man. Let me get the other one here. Nice hot water. That OxiClean, man, I tell you what, that Brewer's Wash, OxiClean, whatever you're using, whatever oxygenated cleaner you're using, man, that stuff, it's some soapy stuff, man. It works really well. Don't be using no Dawn dish liquid. I mean, you could, but it ain't gonna clean like this stuff does. You know where my water goes? Doesn't go in the sewer line. It goes right outside to the yard. Why? Because I don't put anything that's not organic down my sink. I don't put food. I don't put anything environmentally destructive down the sink. Even these oxygen-based washes, they're environmentally friendly. You can let it go right on outside, on down the driveway, whatever, man. This stuff, it's environmentally safe wash. OxiClean, any of it. It's not like, it doesn't have bleach or any of that kind of crap in it. I'm actually out of hot water now. I used all my hot water. I'm back to cold water. That's okay because we're at the end of the wash here. Aside from this guy here, I'll rinse it with cold water. That's fine. I just want to make sure these other parts that are machined and everything, I want to make sure that they are good and rinsed. Alright, let's pump it out. Let's turn on the unit. It greets me with its little chime again. I'm going to hit the pump button. We're just going to pump it all out, straight on down the drain, man. Go forth and water my trees with soapy, oxygenated cleaner. Oh geez, I'm making a mess. Let's move a little more over. Well, man, a lot to pump out, but it's moving at a pretty good pace. Moving at a really good pace. My sink is like, hey, I haven't had any water ran down me in quite some time. Yeah, well, that's the one thing I did want to keep out here, man, is a sink. There's so much value in having running water in a sink when you're brewing beer. Nobody want to run back and forth to the house for water. My humidity in here kicked up about 50-fold. I do have a dehumidifier in here. All right, one thing I almost forgot to do, and I'm glad y'all said something. Haha. I need to drain some water out of this here, out of this ball valve. Now, this isn't the conventional way to do this. As a matter of fact, I have a collection cup somewhere that I'll use for this in the future. But I'm just going to simply open up this valve. We're going to let some of that cleaner go through that guy. And what I'll do is I'll rinse this, pump it out, rinse again, run the cleaner through, and or run the rinse water through. All the recirculation equipment and all is well rinsed at this point, so I'm just going to run a lot of it through this. Last but not least, I'm going to take my little paper towel and just give her kind of a wipe down on the inside. It is stainless steel, so it shouldn't have any rust or anything like that happening with it anyways. You know, so. Alright. Cool. Let's take a look at the inside of that bad boy. Look at that, guys. You can set your watch to that. She's clean. Ready for some beer. Alright. Now, one last thing, and I'll let you get back to your lives until the next video. And I'm about to kick the AC back on in here because it's hot. I kicked it off for you so you could actually hear me. I do love about these all-in-ones is storage. One thing I was talking about is space, saving some space. So, I can put these in here, right? Set that guy in there, set my screens in here. Actually, having a blonde moment here, I can set the screens on the bottom, very bottom, put this guy in there. Wort chiller can either hang on the wall or I can just set it down in there. Set all the rest of my pipe parts in there and put my lid on. Boom. Takes up no space. Takes up no space. Everything's stored in one place. I leave all my valves open to dry out some more. Normally, you know, after a brew day, I would have just this stuff kind of out and about letting it dry. But when it comes to storage, I save room over here on my table to do other things, set a laptop on or whatever when I'm not brewing, so I can do my 3D printing business. And then when I'm brewing beer, this becomes a brew space. So yes, perfect setup. I'm in love with it. So thank you, Clawhammer, once again for sending me the unit. I am very much excited to brew some beer here soon. It's been a minute since I brewed a batch of beer. Not because I didn't want to, well, I was taking a break from drinking in general for a little bit, you know, just trying to watch some calories for a little bit there. It got substituted in with other things. But when I got it really into 3D printing here recently, and I was like, man, I kind of started a little side hustle, not a full-time business. It's a business because I do solicit and sell. I do have things that I'm putting up for sale as seasons come around and stuff. But I needed a dedicated space for that. My office was getting overwhelmed with all of it, but this is perfect, man. Yeah, I know there's some people that are going to hammer on this particular unit because it does look very much like the Beaver unit. It's probably manufactured by a similar company that makes the Beaver unit or anything. There is some uniqueness to this one, and I think Kyle and Emmett and them they're going to differentiate themselves in the market here with it anyways, with all the little add-on things that they do with it. One thing I think would be really cool, and I have seen out there, is there's a little cam lock sight glass you can put on here. You put a sight glass up here so you can see the color of your beer as it's circulating through, which is, you know, simple. You just lock it in, put your recirc hose on top of that. That works as well. And if you find yourself that it's too tall, you just extend the tubing down to the top plate. But yeah, it's an all-in-one unit. Yeah, sure. A lot of the all-in-one units have a lot of the all-in-one units are very similar. They all kind of contain similar features. This one is a very cool unit. I can't wait to brew on it. I'll tell you this, no lie, this is better than the Grainfather G30 or the T500 or T600 or whatever I had, the American Grainfather 120. It didn't reach temp as fast as this one does, for sure. And it didn't have a spigot on it. The spigot's kind of a big deal, man. Like, you should be able to drain that beer out. If you have a problem with your pump, you need to be able to drain the beer out and fix the pump, put it back in or whatever. They went a little bit further, like I said, and man, I hope I never have to put it to the test, but there's a probability I may, you know. They incorporated this whole design, which is, I like it, because I don't have to empty all this out, and I just can literally isolate the pump, work on the pump, get back in business, man. So yeah, I for one think this is going to be a very useful unit out here because of the space I need. And dude, for even more, I don't feel like coming out here in the shed making a batch of beer. I take this bitch on inside the house and brew inside there, you know, if I want, you know, just put it on the kitchen counter or whatever, make a batch of beer inside the house, spend some time with the family, whatever, you know, to a degree. But I mean, the probability of me doing that is very low. I'll be brewing out here 99% of the time, but the probability of me going inside, it's there, and it's an option. And so far, I like the unit. The other thing I would love to be able to do on it, though, is bypass the timer if I wanted. I will probably never use the auto mode on it. I've never been, even with the Grainfather, I didn't really like the auto mode so much, like the alarms and all that stuff. I didn't like, you know, I liked being more manual, which why it didn't bother me to have a modular Clawhammer Supply system, because that, it was all you just set timers on your phone. Okay, time to add some hops. I mean, how hard is that? I mean, the only thing I found of value with the Grainfather app was the mash to water, the grain to water calculations. That was nice. It was always pretty spot on. I'm pretty sure, I'm not pretty sure, I know I'm gonna have to crush the grains more coarse for this unit, or else I'm gonna end up with grain bits all in my boil. Which people say can add to tannins and all that kind of stuff. Although I've had that happen in the past, and I haven't. I mean, if they're there, it's very negligible. But anyways, I just want to say thank you again, Emmett and Kyle, sending this unit to me, man. I'm either going to brew the pumpkin ale live, or I'm going to do it in a video. It depends on how I feel. If I want to be live and cameras and lights and all that stuff going on in here, which, you know, I've had to redo all the lighting and stuff in here too, because I had to take one light unit down. I'm actually running one light unit right now, which seems to be doing a decent bit of work for this video. So sorry if it was long-winded, guys, but I'm very excited to try this out. They have it on their website, link below if you want to get one of these. Yeah, stay tuned, and when I brew a batch of beer, you can see this thing at work. Cheers, guys. Thank you for your time.